I'm a hair mineral analysis expert. I have a background in functional medicine, and I educate people using HTMA testing to maximize health, erase debilitating symptoms, and gain energy. I'm a multi-time kettlebell sport world champion, and I'm constantly searching for high-performance pros from all over the world to bring you this human optimization podcast. My name is Lisa Pitel-Killah. Welcome, everybody, to a brand new episode of the Human Optimization Podcast. And I am so excited to have here with us today Naomi Brand. Naomi has a Bachelor of Arts in Communication from the University of Iowa. She's worked in TV and film. And while she has always lived a holistic lifestyle, it was only a few years ago that she followed her passion and joined her parents, Dr. Rick Malter and Rosalie Malter at the Malter Institute. She is a thermographic technician, screening patients with medical digital infrared imaging to show clients where their inflammation is in the body. Naomi is also a trained HTMA or hair tissue mineral analysis consultant, helping clients understand the importance of mineral balancing. She's very passionate about speaking and educating people about how to achieve health from the cellular level and why this can be such a game changer when helping people heal. Naomi works and lives in Phoenix, Arizona. So welcome, Naomi.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. And I'm so excited to finally be in a new decade, a new year.
Yeah, new decade, new year. I always think a new year, but I forget about the decade part. And I've heard that a couple times from a couple of different people now, and that is super exciting. More opportunities for us to have the gift of the present.
That's right. Hopefully the gift of health.
Exactly.
We want everybody to live their best quality life.
Absolutely. So we are here today to talk about some exciting topics. And one of the topics that we're going to talk about today is redox signaling molecules. And for anyone who's watching or listening, they're going to be like, what are those? So tell us what those are, Naomi.
Okay. Well, redox signaling molecules are something very exciting that they've been studying for about 20 to 30 years. And these molecules, actually, the Huffington Post had written an article about 5 emerging science technologies that were going to affect people in the coming years. And number 4 on that list was redox signaling molecules. So this was back even in 2016. So these molecules help our cells communicate. So we know that, like with cellular, our cell phones and everything, if we don't have a good signal, then we can't communicate with each other. And it's the same with our body. Our body is a complex communication system. And if we don't have good, strong signals and good, strong communication, then the cells don't know what to do. So if you're eating a good diet and you're taking good supplements and the right supplements, but your body doesn't have good communication, then it doesn't even know that you've given it those good things. And so we know that cellular communication is super important, and they've discovered that these molecules are critical to that process when it's talking to your immune system and when it's activating antioxidants. We need redox signaling molecules. And unfortunately, like many things in our life, as we get older, our body doesn't create these things quite as well. And so that's why we age. Our hair turns gray, we start to get some wrinkles, things like that. That is a sign that our body is not communicating as fast or as efficiently as it did when we were, little kids. Mm-hmm. Same with healing. If you cut yourself when you're a child or you bruise yourself, you heal really quickly. As we get older, our body doesn't heal so quick. If we get a cut or a bruise or even an illness, we don't heal as quickly as we do when we're children. And it all has to do with these redox signaling molecules.
Interesting. And what a major impact on health. And
absolutely.
Yeah, and I know that. So with regards to the signaling molecules, I know that there are quite a few athletes and different individuals using them to not only for anti-aging purposes and things like that, and to increase that communication, but to make sure that communication is super strong for their performance.
Absolutely. And so I know of a couple Olympic swimmers, Cody Miller and Bridget Larson, and they've been using these molecules for quite a few years. And Bridget even started in high school before she was ever associated with the company. And she discovered that if she uses these molecules, she not only has better endurance, better performance, but also better recovery. And when you're a high-end athlete, as you know, you have to be able to recover because you need to stay consistent with your training. And so they look for really clean products. They're like, if you can read the ingredients and understand what they are, that's a first step. They know if they use this product that they, they'll test clean because they're always drug testing them. Mm-hmm. And so they have to have clean products that they understand, what the ingredients are. There's no questionable side effects or anything like that. And it gives them that natural edge that they need when they're scratching for microseconds, and swimming, right. You can win or lose by 100th of a second. It can be totally crazy what they have to do. And so if your body can just eke out that last little bit of effort at the last second, you're going to win the race. And they also mentioned when I spoke to them that it's really important that they don't get sick, because if you get sick, then you're missing training time and you're not being as consistent and not working to the level that you need to. So when you're using a Redox molecule product, then your immune system tends to function better also, and so you're less likely to get sick or less likely to stay sick for very long, so you can get back into your workout regime much quicker. So all those things are super important for athletes. And the products come in two forms. There's a gel and there's a liquid, and they use both. But say you want to go for a run, and they said the best way to actually use it is the gel. You rub the gel on your muscles, on your legs, and you won't have as much lactic buildup and all of that can cramp you up or slow you down or prevent you from, achieving the goal that you're trying to reach when you're out there.
Absolutely.
So yeah. It's really important. And it's important always to listen to your body. My dad, Dr. Rick Malter, he talks about the wisdom of the body. Our bodies are probably more intelligent than we're conscious of, and they know what to do in what order, what to work on first. And it will, if you respect it and you listen to it and you support it with good nutrition supplements and things like that, it will serve you well and it'll give back to you. So you really need to listen, be patient. I know with so many of our clients, they want that instant fix. And I've learned in my own healing journey that you got to be patient. And if your body says rest, you need to rest. And if your body says go, go, but yeah. Listen to it. It's giving you signals. You got to be in tune with what it's saying to you.
Yeah. And that is just so blazingly true, because so many of us, and I just did an interview about this, and so many of us, especially when we're that, if we're competitive, usually we're a bit of a type A personality, right? So we've got a very strong mental mindset, and as an athlete, we nurture that. And sometimes our mind will get us to the end of the game, but probably not in a healthy fashion if we're not listening to the physical, because the mental and the physical have to come together. Right? They're not two separate pieces. And that's what sometimes we forget. And with regards to, just with performance, so I do use redox signaling molecules. I implemented them in my practice in 2019, and I definitely saw an increase in performance. With regards to just the capacity I had for stamina, that was definitely affected, and with how quickly my body tired. Because as you're doing something, again, whether it's an endurance sport, like, it's running, swimming, whatever the case might be, there's certain muscles you're using over and over and over again. And as, those tire, and as your set goes on, for us, which is 10 minutes, at the end of that set, obviously you've got a lot of fatigue there. And I definitely noticed a difference with how I felt at the end of the set versus how I felt at the end of a set prior to implementing those strategies. So really important. And just again, with that communication, right? We're talking about a whole body communication. And if we're making that speak faster and clearer, then obviously the functionality is going to be there. You're going to be able to perform better.
Absolutely.
And
Um,
go ahead.
and that communication, if it's not there, that's when we start getting confusion in the body. It's like, oh, well, should I be doing this or should I be doing that? Should I be repairing the muscles or should I be working on something else? And so the more consistently you use this, the more steady you'll see things starting to happen. Like, just for me, what I was looking for was just a normal day when I could function from 7 a.m. till 9 p.m., without falling apart or wanting a nap. That's where my journey began. Is it wasn't even athletic. It was just, can I get through my day, have brain clarity, have the energy to do the tasks that I needed to get done. And then there it was. It was this steady energy that, wow, I could think clearly, I could stay on task, I could get things done. And for me, being normal again was like, oh, wow, this is the most exciting thing. So, everybody has their own goals that they're trying to achieve. For athletes, it's, taking your performance just a little bit higher so you could achieve that next level. For somebody who's perhaps middle-aged and you're just trying to get through your day, that's the achievement, is, hey, I'm functioning more like I did in 30 than at 50. So it's a big difference.
Absolutely. And such a big eye opener too, right? Because I'm one of those people, I'm always like, age is just a number. But anything that we can do to make us feel more energy. And I think for me, a lot of the practice comes back to anything that I implement, it's all about energy. Because if your digestion's working really well, then you feel more energetic. If if your body's functioning better, then you feel more energetic. So if you've got that energy, then I feel like success is right there for whatever you're trying to achieve, because you've got the stamina to make it through, again, whatever it is that you want to make it through, whether it's a 10-minute set, whether it's winning the Olympics, or whether it's just getting through your day and having enough energy at the end to go, wow, that was a really great day today. I can't wait for tomorrow, whatever the case might be, right? And so tell us a little bit more about the gel, because I know it's very intriguing when, like, even for people with, when they cut themselves or things like that, like, I know it works really, really well for that healing properties with regards to when something happens that could be, take a long process.
Yeah, this actually is one of the more fascinating parts of it that I'm like just not amused by, but just fascinated by, is the ability for the body to heal like almost instantaneously. So the thing I love about these products is, they're made from salt and water, and people are like, well, how can that heal? Well, through their special process that's very patented, that they are able to create these redox molecules. And these molecules, that is their job, is to tell the body, hey, there's something going on here. You need to, work on this. And so if you cut yourself or burn yourself, if you can get this gel on your skin immediately, I mean, literally instantaneously, it stops the burning, it stops the bleeding. My son calls it blood gel because you just put a blob of the gel on there over the cut. Don't put any pressure, just put the blob on, let the gel fill with blood, and leave it on for 2 or 3 minutes, and then wipe it off. It stopped bleeding. The body knows how to shut down things when there's an emergency. It is designed to do that. It doesn't want you to bleed. It doesn't want you to burn. It wants to repair itself. And so when you add these molecules to it, it does that pretty much instantaneously. My husband and even some of my neighbors have gotten stung by scorpions. We live in Arizona. Yes. So the little critters are around, and they are sneaky. You don't always see them. And if you get stung, you immediately feel, tingling pain. It swells. You can go numb. It is poison. So you want to get treatment to it as quickly as possible. And before we had the gel, all we could do is like ice or something, and it helps, but not like this. I mean, you put the gel on, it contains the swelling, it takes the pain away. You may still have a little numbness and stuff, but it really just works very, very quickly. And my one neighbor, she didn't like contact anybody for a couple hours. Her like tingling and pain was all the way up her thigh. She had gotten
Oh
bit
my
on her
goodness.
foot,
Yeah.
and it went all the way up her leg. And I got there, we started rubbing the gel on her leg, on her foot, and within 15 minutes, she was like, wow, I feel amazing now. You know, it had really taken away all the discomfort and everything. And within 48 hours, she said she had no remnants of anything, no swelling, no pain, no tingling. And normally they said online that it would take 7 to 10 days to heal from a scorpion bite. So
Wow.
it
Wow.
accelerates the healing process. So we've seen this with animals. With they showed a horse who had cut his chest open, and there's something that can happen when something like that happens called proud flesh,
Hmm.
and it's just this big like nasty open sore. And before you could put like salves on it, you could hose it off, but there wasn't really a great way to accelerate healing, and it could take months and months for something like that to heal. When they started using the Redox molecules, you can spray it on, you can put it into a spray bottle and spray it. They were putting the gel on. This horse healed in like 4 to 6 weeks, which was, I mean, it was a huge cut. It was all the way across his chest, and it was just an amazing healing process. And my horse had done this too. One year he had cut his chest open, and I wish I had had these molecules then, because he would. It took us 3 months to get him out of his stall before he could be fully functioning. And had I had these, he probably could have been healed in a month.
A
So
lot faster.
it
Yeah.
really accelerates that. And like I said, with burns, even if you burn your mouth, you can
Hmm.
either spray the gel in there, or you can put the or not spray the gel, put the gel on or spray the liquid in your
Hmm.
mouth, and it'll stop, that painful feeling. It'll go away immediately. So it's really quite an amazing process. And it just shows you the capability of the body. It
Hmm.
just, to me, is fascinating that our body, I believe, can heal from anything given the right support, whether that's, supplements or these molecules or whatever. You can turn things around, and so much is trying to tear down our bodies, our air, our water, our environment, our food sources, things like that. All of that is just bombarding our body, EMFs, all of that stuff. And our bodies need a little extra, and like the athletes have said, the reason I love these redox molecules, it's simple, it's clean, it
Hmm.
respects the wisdom of the body. So many people are into detoxing these days, and I understand the importance to detox. But if you go too fast, you push your body into detox artificially, you are not going to feel good, and your body's not going to like you very much.
That's right.
So with these molecules, it allows the body to detox, but when it's ready and at a pace it wants to go at.
Hmm.
I've had a few detoxes over the past 2 years that I've used it, and they can be intense, but I know that my body is clearing things out. I call it spring cleaning, and the body clears out all the junk, and then we're able to move on from there. And you just feel so good, just like cleaning out your closet. You're like, I feel, refreshed, and everything's neat and clean and organized now. And that's how your body will feel too, is that, hey, we cleared it all out and now we're ready to go to the next stage. So
Yeah, absolutely. And I do know that the detox can be so. Talking just briefly about detox, and then I want to come back to the molecules, because again, you're right, so many people want to detox, and I mean, there's some safe ways that you can help your body to remove environmental toxins that we're exposed to every day. That's support. But when we're doing these kind of, off the shelf heavy detoxes, in many cases, as you and I both know on HTMA testing, the majority of the population are slow oxidizers. And when
right.
you're a slow oxidizer, which means your body's clearing things at a slower rate, when you're trying to do those heavy detoxes, your body probably isn't ready, and your systems probably aren't ready to take that on. And that's why a lot of Herxheimer or sickness reactions come from that detox. So, and the redox molecules definitely are detoxifying, because I remember when I started, I took, I was I'm like, oh, I'm going to mega dose and get, see how it goes. And it was like, whoa, I need to slow down a bit, because my body was trying to detox, and I don't detox extremely efficiently, because I have a genetic mutation in my methylation system. So I need to take things very slowly. So I had to reduce my dose and kind of work my way back up, which was the smart thing to do. So it definitely takes on that. And again, when it's ready, right? And I think that's an important part that a lot of people forget, and they try. And again, that mental thing where they're forcing it forward instead of listening to the physical body that's trying to help that process as well.
Right. Yeah, taking it slow is really important. And I too, when I first started on the molecules, I thought, oh, I'm just going to take a dose and, it's going to be great. And
that'll be awesome.
After a couple of days, my body was like, what are you doing? Communication is a little too exciting. And so I had to back down to half a dose, because my body was just like, whoa, okay. It was like literally turning on the electricity, and the body was just like very alert. And okay, we got all the, also like spring cleaning, you have a million things to do. Which task do you want to do first? And so the body was like, wait a second, I need to think about what I want to work on. And so slowing down the process and, taking a smaller dose helps the body go, okay, here's my checklist. I'm going to take care of this, and all of that. So that's why I said you really have to listen and respect your body. And when you are detoxing, it's exhausting to the body. So many people are like, well, I'm going to detox, but I'm going to keep doing everything I do. And it's like, your body's not going to go along with that philosophy. You need to slow down. If you need a nap, you need to take that nap, and, respect what signals are being sent to you, and don't disregard that. So it's important to take it one step at a time. And you can reverse things. I mean, I'm seeing wonderful, amazing things happen with people. And
well, and there was a pretty incredible story, and let's touch on that if you don't mind, because I know that there was an incredible story with regards to in the group chat about just people who the one woman in particular, I believe, had a brain injury of some sort.
Her child.
Yes. So can we touch on that, because I think that is a pretty incredible story.
So one of the things I love about these products is the stories that come out of it. And, everybody has a unique healing journey and their own issues, and that's what I tell people, is that your issues are different than my issues. What your body's going to work on is going to be different than what my body's going to work on. So we had a hair analysis client, and she was giving her 3.5-year-old daughter supplements. Things were starting to improve a bit. She was developmentally delayed because of a toxic exposure, and she was struggling. And she was like, I know there's something else out there that could help my child. So we had a conversation, and I said, maybe trying these redox molecules could make a difference for her. And she's like, okay, it sounds safe enough. I'll try it. So I love the first 72 hours of this experience, because she said she was only 3.5, so she only gave her a small dropper full of the liquid molecules. And she said when she first gave it to her, she kind of giggled and smiled, and she was kind of like, and she made a face like, what is this, And by later that evening, the child was already, she was in the living room, and one of everybody's favorite childhood songs is Head, Shoulders, Knees, and Toes. And so the child and the mom would always do this, but always do it together, because the child didn't know how to point to the body parts. All of a sudden, the child was in the living room singing this to herself and pointing to all the correct body parts.
Oh my goodness.
And her mom was like, oh my gosh, what is going on? And even by the next day, The child was making better eye contact. She said she jumped on the trampoline for 40 minutes. All of a sudden, she had all this energy. And within those first 72 hours, her appetite got better, her sleeping patterns got better. She said she finally slept through the night after the third night. And so all of a sudden, things were just happening. And she's like, I never imagined that my child could reawaken like this. And the thing that I love the most is that she said her cheeks finally turned pink again. Like, I guess she had kind
Wow.
of been pale and kind of, because when you're under stress, your face shows
Hmm.
it. And she's like, she had pink cheeks. And to me, having been being a mother and everything, a pink cheeked child is like a sign of health. And
Yeah.
so just her saying that, I was just like, this is so wonderful. And that's what I love about using hair analysis and mineral balancing and the redox molecules, is because we can make a huge difference by getting to the root cause of why people are having health challenges. And it can be pretty simple. If you have good cellular communication, you have the minerals to support that, you have the nutrition, and you try and limit your environmental toxins, you can really make a tremendous shift in a person's life. And I've experienced it myself. Our clients experience it, and it's just very rewarding and satisfying to know that, hey, we can turn things around. The ship doesn't have to keep going in a bad direction. You can make another turn and
Yeah.
take it in a good direction.
Yeah. And you made a very important point a little earlier, and that was about what we're dealing with now as practitioners and health coaches, and that is the instantaneous gratification. And when people are on their healing journey, again, everybody's different, right? Some people have genetic mutations that they're dealing with. Some people have other issues that are going to make their journey a little bit longer. But the patience is the key, right? And having the patience to be on that journey and not make it a means to an end, right? Because I feel like, when I talk about my health journey, it is a journey, and it's going to be a journey for the rest of my life, because I always want to be healthy and I always want to be happy. And so whatever that means for me, that's a journey that I'm going to be on for a very long time. And so I think that's where people just need to take a step back sometimes to realize that, they could be trying some different protocols and strategies, but they need to be patient in the process as well, and have that whole, mental and physical state intact, and kind of on board for that.
Right. Being steady, consistent, sticking with it. There's lots of things out there,
Mhm.
but I do consider this kind of like a building, and redox molecules I can consider the foundation. And like you said, this is a lifelong journey. It is not a means to an end. It's not a cure. It's not even a treatment. It is a lifestyle. And if you want a healthy life, you need to understand that your foundation is cellular communication, mineral balancing, and then everything else on top, the nutrition, the exercise, sleep. And it will come if you have a strong foundation. Just like a house or a building, if you don't have that strong foundation, your building's going to crumble, or it may
Exactly.
stand for a little while, but then it's going to eventually have cracks and it's going to start having issues. And that's exactly the same thing with our body. This vehicle has to last 100 years or so.
Yeah.
So if you want it to last, you have to maintain it. You have to take care of it. You have to nurture and care for it. And these processes that we talk about, with the mineral balancing and the redox molecules, they're all there in order to support and maintain healthy functioning. That's what we want. We want optimal healthy functioning, and these things will do that. Anything synthetic, artificial, those things I think can help in a crisis,
Hmm.
but they're not something that you should be using, for a long duration. They were meant for acute situations, And like I said, we really need to respect the wisdom of the body. We as humans, we don't know exactly how everything works in our body. And, something very powerful created us. And so I think everything that was put on this planet and everything that was designed in this body was for a purpose. And we need to respect that. And as we look into it and try and understand it consciously, what's going on, we need to respect that this is a very high-tech machine and yes, we don't understand every little aspect of its workings. So we need to let it be our guide and we support it, kind of versus the other way around where we're trying to force it to do what we want. We think we know better. That's not exactly the way it was set up. So that's just kind of my personal understanding of it. And, I'm grateful that there are these atomic physicists who can understand these, micromolecules in our bodies. I don't understand how they work, but I appreciate the effects that they create for us. And my life has literally gone from dragging and non-functioning, or barely functioning, to high functioning, lots of energy, lots of optimism for the future. And, like you said, the energy to create that future. If you're dragging all the time, you don't want to do anything. You just want to lay around. And, that's, to me, that's not a high quality life. I want to make a difference. I want to be out there doing things I enjoy. I love hiking, and I had gotten to a point where I was so dizzy and it would take me a week to recover from a hike that was no way to enjoy anything. So once I added the molecules in, all of a sudden the dizziness was gone, so I could function better just throughout my day. But also when I would do my hiking, I was recovered. In fact, there was no recovery time. I could go back out the next day. So it was a huge difference, for even someone like me who just wants to enjoy nature and get out there and do something I love and be able to enjoy it to the fullest.
Excellent. And I do think that that takes a big toll on people when they don't have enough energy. What do they lose? So we have to go to work, right? Most of us have to go to work. We have to support a life of some type of lifestyle. And so when we are lacking energy, but yet we have to have energy for work, then what suffers? It's what we love, right? It's the things that we love doing that suffer because we don't have enough energy left at the end of the workday to be able to do those things. And that's a very important part of being healthy and happy, is making sure that you're doing something. And I always say once a day, even if it's for a few minutes, doing one thing you love, whatever the case might be. Maybe it's just your morning cup of tea or whatever the case might be, but just one thing every day that's going to make you smile and fill your heart with a little bit of joy.
That's right.
Yeah.
We want everybody to be happy and live the highest, best quality life that they can. Understanding a few basics can make an immense difference in how that plays out for them.
Absolutely. So I will have Naomi's contact info at the end of this podcast. And because I think it's really important, if anybody has questions, obviously, or wants more information about how to get a hold of these groundbreaking science-based molecules that can change your life. And one thing that I want to touch on, because we do have a few more minutes that we haven't touched on yet, is not only for an ingestible, so an oral, but have a topical, but we didn't talk about skincare.
They call it Renew 28 because our skin cells, when they're optimally functioning, should be regenerating every 28 days. So people have done experiments. This one guy in particular, he put the gel on one half of his face, but not the other half. And literally it looked like the half that he didn't put the gel on had a stroke because it was sagging still. And the other side had tightened up and the wrinkles had gone away. So that was quite, his wife was like, you better put it on the other side because you look very
for the same period of time.
Right, yes, of course, for a whole month.
Yeah.
So it's really wonderful for that. They also have something called the serum, which is 4 times as concentrated as the gel, the Renew 28. So you can use either one depending on how quickly you want to make changes and things like that. So it's a really wonderful thing. And also, like in the wintertime, a lot of people will get cracking skin on their fingers and stuff because of the dryness. So you can put it on there and it helps heal that skin a lot quicker and just help repair that. So you can use it on age spots. You can use it on anything like that. People who have tags, skin tags, many people have told me, and even for myself, I've used it, and the tags fall off. So it just is quite remarkable. I've had a few treatments on a few bad spots on my body, and when I use the Renew, it heals in like a fraction of the time, because I had one area a few years ago and I had treated, but it took months for that area to heal. When I recently did a treatment to an area, it only took like a week to scab over and fall off, and then the scarring took a little bit longer, but it filled in and healed really, really nicely. So it really, again, accelerates that healing process. So yeah, if you're concerned about aging of your skin, whether that be age spots or anything like that, my parents are in their 80s, and older people have thinner skin, so they tend to bruise easier. So you just put it on there and the bruising goes away in a fraction of the time. So it really can accelerate those processes. And I always joke with my dad that he heals like a 10-year-old now, because
he's like, got molecules.
Yeah, he's like, I bump into things all the time, but I heal really quickly. So it's all good. But yeah, so it's really good. And these products, are totally safe, so you can use them, every day, and you don't have to worry about any kind of skin sensitivity. Now, one thing I will tell people, you can detox obviously through your skin. Yes. So at first you may see some of that happening, but once you've kind of cleared through that, it doesn't happen like that anymore. So it's good for that as well.
Amazing. Well, that's great. So, and yes, and you know what? I do use the serum on my face. I've noticed a big difference, and my husband uses the cream as well. So, yeah, definitely great skincare products, and so many wonderful things that they offer, which is great. And again, that communication, the holistic approach, and basically what it is good for, which is pretty much everything when it comes to cellular communication in the body, which is so important for us to be healthy. So I am going to have Naomi's contact info at the end of this podcast. And feel free to reach out if you want some more information, if you want to get your hands on these amazing molecules, which I'm assuming by now you do, then you can definitely reach out to her. Let us know that you like this podcast. Give us a thumbs up. You can subscribe to the YouTube channel. We have a brand new podcast out every 2 weeks. And if you're on your favorite podcast host, give us a like, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for listening to today's show. Head on over to Killah, KILLAH.org to gain access to some amazing resources that will help you gain energy, rid yourself of debilitating symptoms, and be the best version of you. Remember to give this podcast a like and follow me on Instagram at coach.killah. I'm here every 2 weeks with a brand new episode of the Human Optimization Podcast. Until next time.